Hi, I'm Kamon Reynolds, and in today's video I want to talk to you about the Instant Vap, the newest vapor on the market, and it is cordless. Oh yes, I like cordless, and I love stainless steel, so what's not to love about this unit? This is something I'm excited to use for my operation because we're constantly tripping over cords. How we go to other bee yards and treat them with oxalic acid vapor is we have an inverter that hooks up to a truck battery or car battery, and then we have to run a couple cords, couple vaporizers, and that does work. However, unrolling the cords, setting everything up, hooking it up to the truck, and then moving cords around pallets or hives of bees, and then winding all that back up, that takes a lot of time, and nobody enjoys that kind of work. So when this came out, I got really excited because it's saving me a lot of time, and based off of what I can tell, which is I can get a treatment easily under 20 seconds per hive, then in the time frame that it takes me to set up the cords and in the inverter and take it down, I can treat like 20 hives with this thing. 20. If I have 40 hives to a bee yard, half the bee yard's done. So that's pretty awesome. I also already have batteries because we have a DeWalt weed eater, we have a DeWalt blower for blowing bees out of supers, and of course we have drills and impacts and all kinds of stuff, and a lot of you guys and gals already have these tools. Now I'm going to leave a link below. This comes from Larabi Vaporizer, and they sell their vaporizers and the Instant Vap, the only company that has them in the US. This was designed by Janos, a amazing guy. I had the pleasure of listening to him break this whole thing down for me, show the inner workings of it. Oh my goodness, this thing is over-engineered. Absolutely love this product because it is made how I want all of my tools made, to last, and if something happens, to be fixable easily. Now, you also can get a Milwaukee version of this if you don't have DeWalt batteries, and there may be other options happening in the future. I don't know, but you can contact Rob down below. Now, as you can see, stainless steel, you got to watch it. I've got it turned on right now to 230 degrees Celsius, so it's quite hot. That is a great temperature for oxalic acid though. And this right here is like a motorcycle muffler. It is hot. So you need to really watch everything from these vents on up. And then we have our dispenser right here. This is awesome. Again, all stainless steel, comes with a couple extra rubber gaskets, and you can see I have a little bit of oil right here. It makes it so much easier after you clean it out. Now, I've already used this over 50 times. It is fast, it is awesome. Just so many details to cover. So yes, whenever you're working with oxalic acid, it needs to be something that will not rust or corrode or anything like that very easily. So stainless steel is the preferred option. Of course, we have copper up in here, and with that oil, it will just slide right down in there. One thing real quick, it also slides into the handle, so you can have two of these if you prefer and speed things up. You can see there's a little bit of water vapor from where I cleaned it coming on out of the top. Now, look at this dispenser right here. Right now I've got it set to 4 grams. And you can see as I push, there's a spring in here. And it just pushes this nut all the way out. But as I screw this in, you will see up into here that it moves. And I had it at 4 grams. Now it's at 3 grams, 2 grams, 1 gram, so forth. So I tested it out on my last round with 50 rounds of 2 grams. So I had it set right here, and I was using this 6 amp hour battery, and I was able to get 50 treatments. And I might have been able to squeak 1 or 2 more out of it, but you don't want to drop your batteries too far down as far as voltage. So we've got a gauge right here that was included as well. You got to be really careful because you don't want to damage these batteries. They're worth quite a bit of money, and they can last a long time if you take care of them. So right now we're at 20 volts. That's great. Once it starts dropping below 15 and staying there around, once it stays at 15 or drops below that, that's the time to take it out of the vaporizer. Now, if you're treating it, drops down close to 15 and then goes back up to 18 or 19 or whatever, you're good. That's normal, but you want to see where it flatlines after the treatment is done. I'll show you that here in a little bit. And whenever you put the battery in or take it out, it's always best and easiest on the electronics to turn it off before you pull it on out or put it in. Just makes sense. So take care of your electronics and they'll last much, much longer. So let's try this out real quick. So you just drop that in there and we got 2 grams of oxalic acid and it just shoots a plug on out. It is so awesome. I just love it. Just push it in, drop it on out. Now, I like to get a little heavy-handed, and so if I want 2 grams, I may wind this up to 2.5 or something like that. Whatever. This thing really allows you to be very flexible. Love it. And again, all of these parts really are something that you can, if you lose a nut, you can get one pretty much at your hardware store or something like that. Now, as we look at the body of this, what other features are awesome? This copper barrel is awesome. And yes, this is a barrel. You see how heavy duty that thing is? Extremely heavy. And you see how it has a hex nut side of it? That unscrews and is threaded on the other end of that. And if for whatever reason you bent that or broke it, which I don't know how you could do that because it's so heavy and thick, you can just unscrew that, get a new one, and screw it back in. It's made to last and be worked on. As you can see, there's insulation down into here. When Janos showed me all the inside of it, I was just blown away. And it took over an hour because there was just so much detail that went into this, the gauge of wires used, to just so many details that were thought out to make this a great unit. The insulation here, again, it gets really hot, but it heats up really fast. And of course, we just have our basic electronics here in the front. It is, it's great. So let's go ahead and get ready to use this unit. As you can see, I have different batteries here and we can just adjust from one to the other. Real quick, I guess before we start, let me say that how much are you going to get out of each battery? Well, we got to think, well, if you got an old battery that's only got half its life left, maybe it won't get quite as much out of it. But if you have a new battery that's like this 6 amp hour battery, expect 1 amp hour to go to keeping the temperature where it needs to be and heating it up initially, and the other 5 amp hours to go to 10 treatments apiece. So that would be 50 treatments of 2 grams with a battery this size. Now, this 9 amp hour battery should get you about 80 treatments with 2 grams apiece. And then your regular drill sized, impact sized 2 amp hour battery will probably get you around 10. So if you have a couple of these lying around and you have 10 hives, 5 hives, 20 hives, hey, you're already ready to go on a power source. And I absolutely love not having to run cords and all that kind of stuff. Now, I'm going to turn this off. You know what? We'll just leave the big one there. Let me get my mask on, and I'm going to leave links for everything below, masks that are appropriate and safe enough to use, and again for this vaporizer and all that down below, and oxalic acid, all that fun stuff.
So here we are with the Instant Vap. The plume of vapor that comes out of this thing is impressive. It's very efficient, very insulated. So we have it set at 230 degrees Celsius. It's a great temperature. It builds back up to that very quickly, 18 seconds. If you have a 2 gram dose, that's what I'm finding over many treatments that I've timed. If I'm quick, 18 seconds from the time it's dropped into the chamber to the next time I drop it into the chamber again. That's fast, especially for a battery-powered vaporizer. Now, as you can see, that little piece of copper barrel that is sticking out the end, that is the only part of that is not heavily insulated. And that's part of the reason why this unit is so efficient, and you will not see a fraction of the buildup on the barrel or anything coming out of the nozzle because it is so well insulated. It's just smart. Now that was a 4-gram dose right there. These do take a little bit longer. Probably add another 10 to 12 seconds on a 4-gram dose, but it's really not that bad because it's not even doubling the time for double the dose. And as you can see, the temperature dropped down quite a bit, a little bit more than 20 degrees Celsius, but it's already rising a tremendous amount. And as you can see, the oxalic acid diminishing. We're at about 221 degrees Celsius, and it is time to load it up again. So you don't have to wait till it's quite to 230 degrees Celsius before you can use that again. Now let's talk about the gauge to measure the voltage. This is important. I've already mentioned this, just going to say it again. When you're using it, it drops down. So we're at 18.8, and as it's being used, it can drop down a decent bit. This battery is very fresh, so it's only dropping down to about 18.8 or whatever it is. Let's see what it does. So now we're already back up to 19 point something, and it's still rising.
So now the question is, how well does it insert into the colony? How many different ways can you use this vaporizer? And so far I haven't seen anything that would cause any problems. I don't have a lot of hives that have holes drilled in them. I prefer to treat oxalic acid through the front door or the entrance of the colony. So let's show you how I do that. But one of my buddies who has one of these drills holes in his, and it hangs on the back, and as you can see, there is these sharp teeth right here that hold in a couple different positions, and this is extremely strong. It will hold a lot of weight. Again, just love the heavy duty made to last construction. So as you can see, it is hot, it is humid. Thank goodness we finally got some rain. And what we're going to do is just, let's say we're going to treat this colony right here. If we were going to treat this whole row, then we would smoke them all. We want to get these bees out of the way so we don't accidentally burn any of them. And they're just hanging out right now because there's no forage coming in. And these are just bees that have nothing to do, and they're just getting out of the way of the brood rearing going on and getting those warm bodies out, because they're already having to do a lot of work to keep the colonies cool. Now I've got this turned off. We're actually not going to treat this colony. As you can see, some of these, all of these have markings on them of which colony they are. This is now the experimental yard, and so these colonies are not ready to be treated yet. But I wanted to show you that, and I've tried it out with a regular bottom board that you all would typically have, and then now here is this one, and it will just go, move out of the way, bee, thank you. It just sits right there. This is a 9 amp hour battery. This is a very heavy battery, and it sits there like nobody's business. And my pallets are built very similar to a normal bottom board. It's got a 3/4 inch gap right here, and that copper barrel is able to go in there, and it just sits here, and the treatments are fast. So for a battery powered vaporizer, not having to worry about cords or anything else, I just don't really know what else to say. It's just very efficient, saves me a lot of time. I think for a small professional operation, it still makes a ton of sense, and maybe some large operators, because if you've got a couple thousand colonies and you have a brood break during wintertime, you can have a few of these units, batteries, charging in your truck as you go from yard to yard, and totally just be wearing it out with crews of guys that are treating the colony just every handful of seconds and not having to hook up cords and air compressors and generators and inverters and all that kind of stuff. So overall, I love this product. I've got the links down below. If you got any questions about it, leave that down below. When I get around to using oxalic acid vapor, I'll show you how well this unit works for me, doing a bunch of colonies quick, and also maybe we'll do another video on cleaning it out. That would, just real quick, when you're done, clean it out. It's really easy to do. All I do is turn the whole thing off and put some water down into there, and make sure the temperature's not really hot, no more than 80 degrees Celsius. And then just run a couple rinse cycles through, clean this on up and out, and you're ready to use it again. Thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one.